Hi, what's up, everybody? Uh, let's knock out the final week for the transfer portal so that we can wrap this up and essentially just tomorrow move into the 2027 class. So we got a lot of names to go through, ton of names on both sides. So just going to jump straight into it. First up, we've got Osborne, 50-50 split between Wisconsin and Michigan. Going to go to Wisconsin. All right. Nathan Hayes going to go to TCU. Never know how to say this guy's name. Walker Eget, I believe. Decided between, once again, Michigan and Wisconsin. Michigan going to take this one. All right. Brock Lowry. Deciding between TCU, Wisconsin, Texas Tech. Not going to go to Texas Tech. Going to go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin off to a decent start. Wisconsin's also going to take Long and Odom. All right. CJ Miller is up next. Decided between Wisconsin, Penn State, Vanderbilt, and Texas Tech, just sneaking in there at that 13%. Not going to be Texas Tech. Not going to be Vanderbilt. Going to go once again to Wisconsin. Noel off to a good start. All right. Smolik. Deciding between Stanford, Texas Tech, just squeezing in there, going to Stanford. Jason Wright going to Wisconsin. All right. I'm not going to even try to say that person's name. We'll just go with Gladding. Once again, Michigan and Wisconsin duking it out. Going to go again to Wisconsin. All right. Listorti going to go to Michigan. This person going to go to UCF. Quentin Jackson going to go to Texas. Christopher Barnes. Decided between Stanford and Penn State. Going to go to Happy Valley. All right. We've got Dabbs. Decided between Texas Tech and Texas. Going to go to Texas Tech. Lofton is going to go to Stanford. Cole Cabana going to go to Stanford. Freeman going to go to Georgia. Roche, I believe, is going to go to TCU. Kenny Johnson going to go to Texas Tech. Next up, we've got Dagon. Deciding between TCU and Vanderbilt. Pretty sizable lead for TCU. Going to go to the Horned Frogs. Okay. Gilmer deciding between USC, UCF. Going to go to USC. USC's first commit in 2 years where they had more than just themselves in there. All right. McClure going to go to TCU. Noland going to go to Georgia. Trell Harris decided between Texas and Florida. Going to go to Florida. A little bit of an upset. All right. Voorhees. We got Stanford, Vanderbilt. Going to go to Stanford. Destin Hill is going to go to Stanford. Wasim going to go to USC. There was another team in there, but only 4%. They did not meet the 20% threshold. Lions going to go to Stanford. We got Mel Brown. Deciding between Texas and UCF. Going to go to UCF. All right, Cole Adams. Going to go to Georgia. Polk going to go to Florida. All right, Juice Vereen. Decided between Vanderbilt and UCF. Going to go to UCF. Interesting. All right. Jones. Decided between TCU and Texas Tech. Going to go to Texas Tech. All right, let's scroll down here. We got Robinson going to Penn State. Hanson going to TCU. Lacey going to go to Georgia. Matt Wagner, Texas. Williams going to go to Florida. Cooper Flanagan. All right. All right, Cooper Flanagan decided between Texas and Vanderbilt, going to Texas. Payne, going to go to Texas. I think that's Deneke. All right, Luke Deneke, deciding between TCU and Vanderbilt, going to go to Vanderbilt. Derry, going to go to TCU. Joshua Long going to Texas. Duke Watson. Deciding between Florida and Texas Tech, going to go to Texas Tech. All right, Kenyon going to go to Florida. Ty Clark going to go to Penn State. Flora going to TCU. Don't know how to say that name nicely. Going to go to UCF. All right, Lincoln Kienholz deciding between Stanford, USC, Vanderbilt. Just sneaking in there. Not going to go to Vanderbilt. Going to go to USC. That was a big one for USC. Needed that one. All right, next up, we've got Miles O'Neill going to UCF. We've got Quishon Brown going to USC. All right, Micah Hudson. Yeah, definitely not Micah. Micah Hudson. Where is he at? Right here. Deciding between Vanderbilt and Texas Tech. Going to go to Vanderbilt. All right, McCray going to go to Stanford. Braxton Woodson, nice get for Vanderbilt right there. Did not realize that he was a solo. Good job, Greg. Gagliano, another nice grab for Vanderbilt. Not too bad. Cornell Hatcher, gonna go to Texas. All right, Austin Novosad. Give me 1 second. That's interesting. Why that's not populating. All right. Well, I got them fixed in here. So going to go to Stanford. Trayshawn Hurry, deciding between TCU and Texas. Going to go to TCU. Nice get for PJ. All right. JJ Buchanan going to go to Texas Tech. Michael Terry III going to go to UCF. There was another team in here. However, they did not meet the 20% threshold. So solo to UCF. All right. And then last but not least, Prescorn is going to go to Georgia. All right. So I will take a screenshot of this probably tomorrow, post it in the chat. I'll also get players added probably tomorrow. I got some stuff that I have to finish up for the 2027 class for both GM and Road to Glory. But we'll get these guys added. We'll get screenshots posted. Let's move over to the AFC. The AFC does have 2 players that are 6 or more. We got Cam Coleman over here. And then down here, we've also got DJ, I don't know how to say his name, Bonham. That's what I'll go with. All right, so they will be done on that other sheet. All right, so first up, Carlos Del Rio, now Del Rio Wilson, going to go to Tennessee. Nick, Minasucci, sure. Deciding between Baylor and Missouri, going to go to Baylor, starting off with chalk. We've got Jaden Craig, deciding between SMU and Oregon, going to go to Oregon. We've got Cale Helms, deciding between Tennessee and Maryland. There was a third team, didn't meet the threshold. Going to go to Maryland. All right. Jenkins going to go to Florida State. Alberto Mendoza, deciding between Houston, Texas A&M, SMU. Going to go to A&M. All right, Jonathan Silver, going to go to UCLA. Vic Lestorti, going to go to Maryland. Middlebrook, deciding between Baylor and SMU. Going to go to SMU. Marvis Parrish, going to go to Oregon. Christopher Barnes, deciding between SMU, Oregon, Texas A&M. Going to go to Oregon. Roche, deciding between Tennessee and Baylor. Going to go to the Volunteers. Kenny Johnson also going to go to the Volunteers. Dejon Williams, deciding between UCLA, Houston, Michigan State, Missouri, and Miami. Going to go to UCLA. McClure going to go to Missouri. Nathaniel Joseph, Maryland. Voorhees is going to go to the Volunteers. Jaden Barnes, Maryland. Bowman and Danzy are both going to go to SMU. Cade Keith going to go to Tennessee. Dixon going to go to SMU. Carr going to go to Missouri, as well as Lacey and McMillan. Flanagan and Jackson Warren both going to go to the Texas A&M Aggies. Duke Watson going to go to Missouri. Overmeyer deciding between UCLA and Maryland. Going to go to UCLA. Gavin Freeman going to SMU. Owen Allen going to Maryland. Merklinger is deciding between Miami and Oregon, trying to squeeze in there, just getting into the fight with that 20%. Going to go to the Hurricanes. We're going to skip over Cam Coleman. Cutter Boley, deciding between Maryland, Michigan State, and Texas A&M. Going to go to Maryland. Mikey Matthews, deciding between Texas A&M and Maryland. Also just sneaking in there, 21%. Going to go to the Aggies. Carey is going to go to Maryland. Carlos Hernandez deciding between UCLA with a fairly sizable lead against Michigan State and Texas A&M. Going to go to Sparty. All right. Bennett going to go to Maryland. Jaheim White going to go to Florida State. Matt Zollers going to Baylor. Caleb Jackson going to go to Florida State. Mylan Graham deciding between Miami, Michigan State. Going to go to Michigan State. Austin Novosad going to the Hurricanes. Josiah Martin going to the Hurricanes. Jalen Rayner going to Florida State. Cooper Perry, Houston. Caleb Edwards going to Michigan State. Hennikel going to go to UCLA. Braxton Woodson, also a solo over here. Nice get for Dez. Going to go to Maryland. Tisdale going to Tennessee. Aaron Philo, the new starting quarterback for the Florida Gators, deciding between Houston, SMU, and Michigan State. Going to go to Houston. Gagliano, going to go to Baylor. Turner, deciding between SMU and Baylor, 46 and 46. There was a third team here, didn't meet the threshold. Going to go to Baylor. All right, Dendy, deciding between Baylor, Tennessee, Michigan State. Going to Michigan State. Brune, sure. Going to UCLA. Gray, deciding between Maryland and Missouri. Going to Maryland. Roderick Robinson, going to Maryland. Lincoln Keenholz, a solo over here in the AFC. Good get for the Spartans of Michigan State. Ymir Knight going to Maryland. Trey Richardson deciding between UCLA and Texas A&M. Going to the Aggies. Hilton Alexander, also a solo over here, going to Tennessee. Marcel Williams deciding between Michigan State and Baylor. Going to go to Michigan State. Reed Harris deciding between Oregon and Tennessee. Going to the Ducks. Jamari Johnson only had 5 teams in on him. I believe he was well over 6 over in the NFC. I could be wrong, though. Deciding between Maryland, Oregon, SMU, Baylor, Texas A&M. Going to go to SMU. Nice grab for Zad. Nice grab. All right, we're going to skip over him. Also on the 6, more than 6. So we've got Hurry is going to Miami. Denmark going to Miami. Kobe Howard going to Miami. All right. Swap over here. We're going to look up here in the top. Here's Cam Coleman. So, as always, I hit the little button over here. It's going to automatically randomize. That'll be the winner. But first off, he has decided between Tennessee, Texas A&M, SMU, Oregon, Houston, Florida State, Baylor, and Miami. Cam Coleman is going to go to Baylor. Copy that. Put that there. All right. Next up, right next to it, DJ, whatever his last name is, deciding between Oregon, Tennessee, Baylor, Michigan State, Missouri, SMU, and Miami. Gonna go to Oregon. So we've got Baylor and Oregon over here. Let's go up here. We've got Baylor for Cam Coleman. and Oregon for him. All right, so that wraps up the AFC side. Once again, I will take screenshots, post them in the chat, and we will get players added here in the next, day or two. Like I said, we've got the 2027 class, the preseason recruiting, which we'll take care of tomorrow, and then we'll kind of get into season mode. So that'll do it for the transfer portal. Get your points in for preseason. Get your preseason tour list submitted if you have not already. And we will see you next one.